Hi guys, thanks for watching. You're watching This Old Thing. I'm Jessie Sage, and today we are going to be continuing our reading of The Girl in the Centerfold by Surrey Marshe, Miss January 1969. We are reading Chapter 5. If you guys need to or want to catch up on Chapter 1, I put the playlist with every chapter in it down in the info box below, so you can click and find Chapter 1, all the chapters. There's also a discussion on Chapter 1, and if you guys want, I'll do a discussion after each chapter. But right now I'm just enjoying reading the chapters and kind of just getting those out there to you so you can think about them. And then maybe even later I'll post the discussion. So let me know if that's something that you guys want me to post. So here is the book. The wraps are off as one of Playboy's sexiest playmates tells her very intimate story. So we are on Chapter 5. Chapter 5, Only in America. In August, still 1966, I returned to Norway for a 3-week vacation. I had been away from home for 9 months, and I was eager to return to compare my native and chosen countries. I certainly planned to return to America, but I suppose I'd secretly hoped that I'd find Oslo so appealing that I'd at least find it difficult to come back here. You Americans have a saying, you can't go home again. I was sincerely glad to see my parents, brother, and sister. I told them a lot about America, but little of what I had done and was doing. I did have one conversation with my sister. I hardly said I had done it, but I told her American girls posed nude for magazines and asked what she thought of it. She was shocked, but thought it would be a gas. The 3 weeks were too long. I was eager to return to New York. I guess the meaning isn't what it used to be, but to me, America is still the land of the free. Late in the month, I reported back at the Playboy Club for work. As some rule or other demands, I went to see the bunny mother. I don't know what image the term bunny mother conjures up in the mind of the reader. Perhaps a sweet-faced, corpulent grandmother woman with gray hair and a copious apron. If so, then Gwyn Bayer will be a bit upsetting. She was a woman in her late 20s, bleached blonde, mini-skirted, extremely pretty, and possessor of a superior figure. She had been married, but was no more. She had a son. Gwyn could be tough on occasion, but most of the girls, including me, liked her. I stuck my head in her office. Hi, I'm back. When do I start to work? She jumped from her chair. Oh, Solveig, I'm so glad you're here. I've been going out of my mind. You wouldn't believe the phone calls I've had from Chicago. Everybody's calling, asking where you were. Everybody. Would you believe that? They love your pictures. They want you as the Playmate in the January issue. You've got to go to Chicago right away. Oh, Solveig, isn't it wonderful? She said it all so breathlessly that I found myself panting too. But I was so confused. What are you talking about? She tried again. You're going to be the January Playmate. Your pictures were the most beautiful they've ever seen. You're going to be the January Playmate. Your pictures were the most beautiful they've ever seen. You're to fly to Chicago immediately. What pictures? I was being neither ingenious or dumb. A month had elapsed since I'd posed for Pompeo Posar, and I had been in another world for most of that time. I had been most unhappy about posing, and being a sunny person, I'd put unpleasantness out of my mind. Besides, I'd never seen any photographs. I'd seen a fellow snapping a shutter. I'd never translated that act into a visual image on paper. The lady says, the ones Pompeo Posar took when he was here. Oh, then I remembered. They were beautiful. You were just gorgeous. Solveig says, but they were for VIP. The lady says, no, they weren't. They were test shots for the Centerfold. You've been selected as a Playmate. Then I recalled Pompeo Posar's talk about test shots. I should have found out what he meant. Well, test shots or no, Gorgeous or no, that didn't mean that I had to go through with it. I'm not going to do it, I told her. I said it firmly and with great clarity, but she didn't seem to hear me. Instead, she went to the phone. I've got to call Chicago right away. It's important that they know you're on your way. Gwen, I said I'm not going to be a playmate. I can't do it. She dropped the phone back on its cradle and looked at me like, well, I just knew I shouldn't have gone into Mr. McGregor's cabbage patch. Sit down, Solveig. Let's talk. I sat. She talked. Believe me, Solveig, I understand how you feel. As you perhaps know, I was a playmate several years ago. In those days, posing in the nude was a disreputable thing, although I don't know why. Today it's different. Nudity is everywhere, on the stage, in movies, even in fashion. Every magazine, including Vogue, runs nudes. It's nothing. She sat down and moved her chair closer to mine. I can tell you, being playmate was just a wonderful experience. I enjoyed it, and I wasn't hurt by it. Look, thousands of girls every week apply to be playmates, and only 12 a year are selected. It's a great honor. It means you are one of the most beautiful, desirable, and nicest girls in the land. You'll have a 5 or 6 page layout in a magazine read by millions and millions of people. It'll be the greatest publicity in the world for you. There'll be modeling jobs and movie offers. You'll be famous, a celebrity. It'll be a whole new life for you, and you'll be paid $5,000 for doing it. Think of it. That's a lot of money. I thought of it. You think I should do it? Oh, yes, Solveig, particularly you. I know families often disapprove, but you don't have this problem. Your family's in Norway. I suggest you change your name. The magazine's very clever about not identifying you. No one will ever know. Besides, it'll be great fun. You'll stay at Mr. Hefner's mansion in Chicago. You've never seen any place like it. It's the greatest. There's an immense pool with a waterfall, anything you want to eat at any hour, and... As she went on to describe the joys of Hefnerland, I tuned her out. I had to think. I was aware of the inconsistencies in her logic. If posing nude was such an acceptable thing to do and was going to make me famous, then why should I change my name? How could I be famous and no one know me? But I didn't dwell on such questions. My concern was that I'd said I'd never do it. Absolutely. Yet I had done it with Pompeo Posar. But somehow that was different. I hadn't wanted to. I couldn't help myself. To deliberately do it was something else. Here I am. Ain't I gorgeous? Click, click. Oh, God. And yet, deep down, I wanted to do it. I wanted the excitement, the adventure. Good afternoon. Welcome to... I wanted the recognition. Selected from thousands of girls. And I wanted the publicity. Oh, to have my picture in a big magazine like Playboy? To be known, recognized, famous? So you'll have fun, Solveig. It'll be the most thrilling adventure of your life. I was so confused. I wish I had someone to talk to, somebody to tell me what to do. But who? Gwen. I looked deep into her eyes, appealing to her for help. Do you really think I should do it? Her gaze never wavered. Yes, Solveig, I do. I really do. I looked away, down at my hands, trying to think. Trying to know what to do. I'm going to make the call now, Solveig. It was a statement, not a query, but I knew it was my last chance. I had to say no, now or never. I said nothing. She picked up the phone and dialed Chicago. When I left Gwen's office, I discovered my selection as a playmate was already common knowledge among the bunnies. I was besieged. How wonderful, Solveig. Aren't you the lucky one? It'll be just like being in the movies. Remember me when you're famous. The horse was already out of the barn, but I wanted reassurance I'd made the right decision. Assuming I had made the decision. I asked a number of girls if they thought I should do it or if they'd do it. Are you out of your mind? Of course do it. It'll be groovy. I'd do it in a second if my parents didn't live in the U.S. Nothing would stop me if I had a better figure, but look at me. I had test shots once, but I wasn't approved. They're hard to please. I talked to a dozen or more girls and got only one negative vote. That bunny said she'd never do it, but gave me no reason. The rest were ecstatic, getting a vicarious thrill, I guess, from knowing someone who was to make the centerfold. The girls' comments cemented my reaction. They made me feel that I was the luckiest person alive to get to take my clothes off and appear nude in Playboy, and I began to be excited. To think I was going to be featured in a magazine like Playboy. Me, a nobody, selected as one of the loveliest girls in the world. And when the magazine came out, there I'd be, seen by millions. I'd be famous. I'd be on my way to being a big star. I'd go to Hollywood, screen test, Gregory Peck, Rock Hudson, Tony Franciosa, television, Broadway. The dream I'd had since I was 12 seemed very near at last. My name in lights, starring Solveig Mellenborgen. Oh God, I had to change that name. I still had doubts, or rather, fears. I had no conception of negative consequences. What might happen to my picture and the reaction of men who saw it never entered my head. I couldn't think that far into the future. But deep down I knew I shouldn't do this thing, that it was wrong, that my parents would be shocked and disappointed. But the doubts, the fears, were quickly drowned. This is America. America's different. This is the thing to do in America. And I now live in America. Then followed the excuse, which silenced all doubt. If I'd stayed in Norway, I'd never do it. But in America, it was the thing to do. I still think there is a lot of truth to it. And that is the end of chapter 5. That was a quick one. Very quick one. But I am going to wrap it up here. That way I can just, instead of combining 2 chapters, it'll be easier for everyone in the playlist if I end here. So next up is chapter 6, The Gold Room. The Gold Room is referring to a room in the Playboy mansion. And yeah, things are starting, it's already been really interesting, but things really start to get interesting, I feel like, in this next chapter coming up. So make sure that you tune in for that. I want to show you guys my shirt of the day. It's a Hello Kitty burger shop. Just think it's random. And then I have my Juicy Couture hoodie on, a la the girls next door. Here's the zipper if you want to take a look. They wore so many cute Juicy tracksuits on Girls Next Door, and I wish I had all of them. That's my goal one day, is to just collect them all. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. I'll be back tomorrow with chapter 6, so make sure that you're subscribed. And I really appreciate everyone's comments that I've gotten so far about the book. I love all the observations. And yeah, subscribe, like the video, and just help spread the word if you like this. So thanks so much for joining. See you in the next one.